Now, effective communication with Phil Zeller, CEO, Dale Carnegie, Southwest Michigan.
So I've got a question for you today. Are you suffering from a COVID hangover? You know, it's like the day after, and you partied a little too hard last night, and you're thinking, geez, I'm in my head. I got to get out of this. I got to get back to normal. Have you been there before? Somebody asked me the other day, they said, Phil, you keep talking about this COVID hangover. What the heck is that, man? I said, well, yeah, hopefully you've never had to experience a hangover, or maybe you witnessed somebody else going through it, or maybe you did go through it, and the next morning you woke up and you just didn't feel yourself, and things were just not right, and you knew it wasn't right, and you wanted to get back to normal. So check this out. This whole thing with this COVID hangover is we got to step back from them and think about this for a moment. What did we just go through the last couple of years? It's like, here you are. You got three people, right? They're walking along, pushing their proverbial apple cart, right? They got their apple cart in front of them. They're pushing their apples forward. You got three people. And all of a sudden something comes along and this thing happens. And all of a sudden people say, well, you to the first person, you have to dump your apple cart. You have to dump it. We're going to take control of everything. You have to do this. This is what you have to do. Dump your apples all over the place. Flip your cart over. Do it right now because we said so. And the person goes, okay, I don't want to. I got to do as I'm told. Do as I'm told. And they flip the cart over. And of course, the apples go everywhere. And then they're just standing there thinking, okay, well, now what do I do? Waiting for directions for somebody to tell them what to do next as their apples are all over the place. The next person's pushing their apple cart and they're saying, hey, look, you have to dump your apples. You have to do these things. And the person says, well, can I just dump part of them? Do I have to dump all of them? Can I just give you some of them? No, you have to do all these things. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll give you some of them. I'll dump some of them, but I don't want to dump all of them. And they're like, well, you have to dump all of them. Well, no, I'm just going to dump part of them, okay? I want to figure this out. I'll dump half of them because you're telling me to, but let me think about the rest. And then the third person's pushing their apple cart, and they're saying, you need to dump your apple cart. You need to do all this stuff. And that person says, the heck I do. I'm not dumping these apples. I picked these apples. These are my apples, and you're not going to tell me what to do with my apples. And I own these apples. And so I will hold on to my apples, and I will do it my way because I know what's best for me. And so, of course, you have these people going through these three situations. So one person has their apples all over the ground and standing there looking like, what do I do next? I'm waiting for orders. The next person threw out some of the apples to try to appease the powers to be. And they're like, okay, well, I'm still not trusting you and I'm not trusting the situation, but I don't quite know what to do because I've never been in this situation before. And then the third person saying, no, I'm staying true to exactly what I believe and why I believe it. So which one of those examples is the right example? Which one is right? Which one were you going through COVID? Did you comply with everything you were told to do and just do it because you were told to do it because that's who you are and you do what you're told to do? Or were you the person who defied everything because I'm not doing anything because this is what I believe and I'm not listening to anybody? Or were you like most people somewhere in the middle between those two extremes and trying to figure out day by day? Well, most people I talk with were in that middle and they bounced around. Some days are like, no, I'm not dumping my apples. Other days are like, sure, I'll give you my apples because what you're saying seems to make sense. And this is where everybody ended up. And the challenge is now, here we are with the COVID hangover. And people for the first time are thinking, okay, those people who gave up full control to the government are looking for answers. And right now they're not getting them. They're just standing there when they lost all their apples and they don't know what to do. And then the people who held on to everything, but they're saying, okay, well, I don't know if I trust anybody. And I don't know if I can work with anybody because there's a trust that's been broken here. And then you got the people somewhere in the middle who are still trying to figure it all out. And what's the normal? And how do we get back to normal? How do we get our lives back to normal? So think about this for a moment. When we really boil it down, we're trying to get our mojo back. And a better word for our mojo, if you don't understand that slang term, is our confidence. We're trying to get our confidence back because we want to be confident about who we are and what we believe and why we believe it, so we get back to a sense of normal. That's going to help us to do it in all of our communication and all of our relationships, is to get back to our sense of normal. So take a note from Dale Carnegie. Count your blessings, not your troubles. Sit down for a moment today and write down 3 things in your life that you're really proud of that you've achieved. Write those 3 things down, things that you are really proud of, and ask yourself, why are you proud of them? Why? and ask yourself why again. Write down the why and then say, well, why is that? And dig deeper with the whys. Go 3 to 5 whys deep why this is so important to you, and then you will really get back to who you are. What do you value? What have you achieved? What do you take pride in? And when you can get that back on the table and get that in front of you, now we're getting back to normal. We're getting you back to where you belong with your confidence and understanding who you are. And this is critical in all communication, all relationships, to know your point of view and where you stand. So it's time to leave the COVID hangover in the past, get back to the normal you, understand you have been successful. We're going to build on those successes. So take inventory of what you've done wonderfully, what you take pride in, count your blessings. And now when you focus on that, we got something to build on. And tomorrow is going to be a brighter day because you're going to build off that success, because that's what we build off in life. To be successful tomorrow, we build off the success of today. Now go make it happen.